Hey folks, it's John with KGTropicals.com. It's time to talk about lighting. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not the most well-versed person when it comes to lighting, but I can tell you this. Your lighting that you choose can make or break your project. So be diligent, do your research, and make a good choice. Don't go completely on price. Don't go out there and buy the cheapest lights out there because, like I said, you can ruin your project by putting the wrong lights on your aquarium. Now, when it came time for me to make a decision of what I was going to put on this tank, it was a no-brainer. This is an African Cichlid tank. I've got a lot of friends that have African Cichlid tanks. All the ones that look really good are lit with LEDs. So it was a no-brainer. I had to go with an LED lighting system. And when it came to choosing the manufacturer, that was a no-brainer too. Marineland. That's the easiest one to find. They're everywhere. They've got to be the biggest name in the industry. So you can find them anywhere. They're easy to find, they're inexpensive, and look how good they perform. In a minute, you're going to see kind of a back and forth comparison between these lights and my old ones. When you see the difference, you're going to know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely incredible. So to talk about the lights themselves, installing them is a no-brainer. I was not going to do a whole video showing how to install these lights. You set them on top of the tank, you plug it in, you turn it on, you're done. So I wasn't going to waste any time on that. But as far as the appearance of the lights goes, if you've been using your standard aquarium lighting, this is a big, bold change. They're slick. They're only about half of an inch thick. They sit up off of the aquarium about 3/4 of an inch. It's beautiful. Really slick, really small. It's amazing how much light comes out of fixtures this small. If you see the old ones I had, they were huge. So that was a big change for us. There is no complication whatsoever to operating these lights, and it's not just the Marinelands. Just about every manufacturer is the same way. You're going to have a three-way switch. One side is going to be on, fully lit, which would be your blue and your white LEDs. Then you're going to have off, and then you're going to have all blue, which they call moonlight, which I can turn on here. You can see it. It's not going to show up all that well on camera. There's a lot of light in the room, but if your room is dark and you put the blue on, it's incredible looking. It's really psychedelic looking. It's pretty cool. So that's a cool option to have that. Now, I don't really do the moonlight thing at night. We're not here. If this was at home, I probably would because it'd be neat, but we just leave them on full, you know, blue and white, and then we turn them off when we leave for the day. So operation couldn't be simpler. Installation couldn't be simpler. As far as the specs on these, they have a 17,000 hour lifespan. So they're going to run for a very long time. They do not get hot. These things have been on for about 3 or 4 hours. I got my hand on there. It's not even uncomfortable. It's a little bit warm, but nothing outrageous, believe me. These are the lights. There's 75 LEDs on each of these. Now these are the 48-inch version. If you get a smaller one, it's not going to have as many, but it's not going to need as many. So that's not a big deal. And they are 1-watt LED lamps. So they're very energy efficient. They don't get over the top hot. These don't have the built-in fans in them because they're small enough where it's not necessary. So you're not going to burn yourself on them. You're not going to boil your fish. All you're going to do with these is light up the tank and give it that amazing shimmer effect. I can't explain the shimmer effect. Maybe someday I'll figure out a way of doing that. It's something you have to see for yourself, but it's basically the way daylight lights in nature. It shimmers in the water. You just have to see it. I can't explain it. Maybe you'll see it in a second when we go over to the comparison. So I'm not going to keep talking about these things. I love these lights. I'm thrilled with them. When you see the side-by-side comparison, you're going to see why. So let's get right to it. All right, so let's talk about the differences between the two sets of lights. Now, what's on here right now is our old lights. They are standard aquarium lights. You can see up there, they don't even match. These lights take the standard like T12 bulb, like shop lights, the big fat fluorescent bulbs. And you know, they served us well for a few years, but it was certainly time to move on. And you can see it's kind of dark and a little cavernous, and you know, it's just kind of bland. There's not a whole lot of life in the tank. But as soon as we switch over to the LEDs, you're going to see a drastic change. And here we go. Boom. Look at that.
Now that's, there's no way of exaggerating that. There's no way, it's not any kind of special lighting or any angle. Well, it is special lighting, but no special angles. That is the difference between the LEDs and our standard T12 lights. So I don't even need to talk anymore. I mean, you can just look at that and see exactly what I'm talking about. Can you see the bubblers, particularly the one on the right? You can really see the bubbles, and when we switch back, those are just going to disappear. They're not even going to be there anymore because the lighting just doesn't really show them up. And you can see the tops of all of the caves. I mean, look, we just switched back and look at that. You can barely see the bubbles anymore from the air stone. It just almost looks like it just dies. And I'm not making fun of the old lights or anything like that. If you couldn't see the comparison between the two, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I mean, you can see that it is literally night and day. We're going to switch back here in a second to the LEDs, and you're gonna see it's going to be like a smack in the face. Boom, there it is. I mean, you can't exaggerate that, folks. That is what it is. That is the difference that you will see in a tank that has LEDs versus one that has standard aquarium lighting. Now, a lot of people like the newer T5 lights. That's fine. I still don't think that they compare to the LEDs. These things are absolutely fantastic. It just explodes the tank. Now, we're going to switch here for a second and go to a close-up look. Here we are. This is going back to our original lights, the T12s. A close-up look of it. You can see that the fish look pretty good, but the background it's brown. It's, you know, kind of dark and dull. You don't really see a whole lot of character there. The fish look pretty good, but once we switch over to the LEDs, you're going to see it's the same as before. Now, I didn't even move the camera here. I just changed the lights, and then we get that. The light is the camera is in the exact same position, and that is the change from standard aquarium lights to LEDs. Enough said. I don't even need to sell this product. Look at this thing. You can look at this and tell it is a dramatic difference. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out here is that the room is dark. I don't have any lights on in the room, so the fish might look a little bit dark, and that's because they're not getting any ambient light from the front of the tank. It is what it is. I mean, I wanted to do this in the dark because I really wanted the true effect of these lights. So you can see that there is a big, bold move going from standard aquarium lights to LEDs, particularly the ones from Marineland. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helps you to make your decision, and thank you to Marineland.
Check out www.KGTropicals.com and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates on the 240 Overhaul project and our weekly series Tank Talk.